Welcome to the For the Crew podcast. This episode is just me, Matt, today. We tried to record after the game, and we had some technical issues that we're trying to figure out, but because of that, today is just me. No Gabe, no Nate, no Jay, no Raya, no Brian. But I wanted to take a look at this game against Toronto. We lost 2-1, so it leaves us at 3 losses, 2 draws, 2 points out of 15, 14th in the East. So if you're looking at the standings and you're kind of getting upset about how the season's going, I get it. One thing Hendrik Rydstrom said after the game was that we have to take our medicine. Basically like that it tastes bad, but it's going to make us better. So, I mean, take that as you will, but I'm not ready to say this is a lost season yet. It is the worst start we've had in the last decade, but I'm not ready to kind of throw in the towel this early. But another thing he had said was he called the performance shy. Basically, we're not winning second balls. We're not we're not filling our defensive assignments. We're losing our duels. It's basically the dirty work is not being done. And that's really been an issue with this team for a while, in my opinion. We are not very good in transition, and it hurts us when we lose the ball and our opponent is ready to counterattack quickly, which it's happening more and more because I think teams are realizing that is the Achilles heel of the Columbus Crew. But yeah, going into the game, we started really well. I mean, we scored, 4 minutes into the game. For me, it was one of the nicer goals I've seen from the Columbus Crew in a while. Shambo saw Arfson on the run and put a pinpoint volleyed pass to him right into his stride. He looked up and Arfson saw Abu Ali running into the box, and he floated a ball right to where he can get in between the defenders, and he placed his header probably as best as you could in that situation. Yeah, so I mean, Shambo's pass, Arfson's cross, the header, everything was excellent with that. It was basically three players in 60 yards and just a few seconds, and boom, goal. And so I think that's more of how Rydstrom wants the team to play, where we're not building up as much as we're pushing to get to the final third as quickly as we can. So I mean, that kind of is the blueprint, but we'll see as the team kind of gets more familiar with how he wants us to play. I will say I do have my reservations right now about Abu Ali, but he has 3 goals in 5 games. If he scored his PK, he'd have 4 goals in 5 games. So he's already on pace to score 20 goals on the season, even while he's quote-unquote struggling. So that's a positive as well. But then, just a few minutes later, Josh Sargent probably should have tied the game. I don't know if we were kind of shut off because we just scored a goal, but the ball came in and he just couldn't get his foot wrapped around it, and he shot it basically into the side netting. And then about 20 minutes after that, Rossi had a really bad giveaway at the top of the box, and it led directly to a shot. Thankfully, it was not a very good shot. But I think this is kind of the quote-unquote shy play that Rydstrom was kind of talking about. There wasn't anyone in a spot where it should have been simple, and it could have costed us, but it didn't. Yeah, but I will say, there were moments defensively that were positive, but it was built around a situation that was. So, for example, around the 40th minute, there was a header. I can't remember who the player was, but a player headed the ball, and it went, Schulte went up to get it, he missed it, and it would have gone into the goal, but Amundsen headed it out. That's the kind of thing we need. I think he kind of celebrated it too. I don't know if he was celebrating it or if he was kind of yelling at his team. Yeah, the marking was not great. Marking on set pieces has been an issue, and I think Rydstrom even said that after the game, that set piece defending is still an Achilles heel. There was another giveaway in the box before the half ended as well, where Andre Gomez, who me and Gabe talked about it after the game, but that's not something that is normal for him, and it's not something that I'm oh, he did this game, so we gotta expect that he's gonna make these mistakes a lot. I think it was just a bad mistake that's not gonna be very repeated throughout the season. But he gave the ball away in the box, and the Toronto player crossed it, shot went just wide of the post. But I do think this is kind of, we talked about it before in the offseason, but the difference between Nancy and Rydstrom they were both creative coaches, but Nancy's creativity came through his tactics, and Rydstrom wants the creativity to come from the individual players and their connections with each other. And I don't think the players are connected right now. And I think that's hurting the team. Andre Gomez is new. We have Abu Ali, who was injured for most of last year. The formation's new. Camacho's back. There's just changes, and I think it's going to take time for these players to kind of get out of the whole way that Nancy had them playing. While it was creative tactically, it was also very strict in the way that he wanted build-up to happen. And I feel like Rydstrom's kind of giving them more freedom, and we're not really sure what to do with that right now. But yeah, so that was kind of how it went in at the half. But like, this game was I hate the phrase a game of inches, but it kind of was. Rossi, we were up. We could have been up 2-0. Rossi, I think it was like the 51st, 52nd minute. Got the ball free in the box on the right side, took a shot and it hit the post. That hits the post and goes in. It's 2-0, and we feel a lot more comfortable. But instead it hits the post, comes back out, and the keeper grabs it. But like on the goal that Toronto scored, the equalizer. We were pressing them pretty hard, and they just broke the press, and it kind of made it a lot harder for us to continue to push forward from there. I want to say, I'm gonna look it up. Yeah, like it wasn't a great press. We had two guys on one of their players, and he broke through. We had two guys on Zimmerman, and he made a pass that broke the two players that were pressing him, and then they were free. We had 4 or 5 players pressing, and they passed through it, and the field was just open. I don't know if that's another thing where just triggering the press is something they're still trying to learn, but I don't feel like the aggression is there in the press. It almost feels like people are going through the motion. But once the cross came in and Cifuentes hit it, I noticed the closest player to him was Diego Rossi, and I'm not really sure what the idea is for him to be defending that far back. I noticed other times throughout the game where he would get the ball and make a pass that breaks a line, and we have 4 guys attacking, and one of them isn't Diego Rossi. And I feel like for a guy who I've talked about is the quote unquote Robin on his teams, he's not even being given the opportunity to do that. And I don't know if that's a permanent tactical decision or if that's a tactical based off of the players that are available right now or what. But yeah, it just was kind of strange to me to see him defending so deep and not being a part of counterattacks, really. Yeah, it was just a disjointed press on the goal, and then Rossi being far back was just kind of strange to me. He's our engine. He is kind of the guy that, with the roster we have right now, is the closest guy we have to being the glue that holds the attack together, and he's not there, so the attack's kind of staggering. Yeah, it was a goal that exploited the press, and we just got caught high, and they scored. And then the second goal, kind of the winner that Zimmerman scored, I have a question I'll be asking probably for the next week. Why was Picard defending a corner kick like at the top of the 6? Honestly, why is he defending a corner kick at all? He was the closest guy to defending Walker Zimmerman, who Zimmerman, in my opinion, is one of the biggest aerial threats in the league. I think he's past his prime, but on corner kicks, he is dangerous. And so putting a smaller guy, I mean, not even a smaller guy, one of the smallest guys on our roster and maybe in the league up against the best aerial threat in the league is a terrible mismatch. And honestly, I don't think we have anyone that can match Zimmerman in the air, but it doesn't make sense to put the smallest guy against. I've seen a lot of people being like Rydstrom out kind of thing. I'm very much not that. There's a lot of individual errors happening right now. Whether that's players stopping on the goal that Portland scored to win it, whether that's losing the ball and not counter-pressing well, or it's a corner kick goal like the one we had, or not pressing well and getting punished for it. But yeah, I mean, there's just a lot of little things that I honestly think can be fixed. We have not lost a game by more than a goal, and the games we did lose, I think all of them, the winning goal was scored after the 80th minute, and so we're in these games late into the game. It's just there's something, I don't know if it's a concentration issue, some mentality issue, a fitness issue, but we're not able to get to the end of the line to get the win or the point. I think we let in a late goal. We let in a late, like last minute goal against Nashville to lose that one. Toronto scored in the 83rd minute. I think the Portland goal was really late. We've lost, I think, 8 points from winning positions this year, and so like it's a double edged sword. Like on one side, we're losing points from winning positions, which is not something that like a quote unquote championship team is doing. But on the other hand, we're getting ourselves in those positions, and so I honestly think it's small tweaks. We have a negative 3 goal differential without a win in 5 games, which is not on paper sky is falling scenario. We're Orlando, for example, has let in 17 goals in 5 games. That's twice as many, a little bit over twice as many goals as we've let in so far. Philadelphia's lost all their games. So obviously that doesn't really make our situation good. But I'm just trying to say, like, there are issues we could be having that we're not having yet. For me, there's a couple things. We need to be better at transition play, both offensively and defensively. We're a team that seems to, when we lose the ball, we kind of take a second before we actually respond to it. If we had someone, like, I mean, I talked to Big TV NSC before the Nashville game, and I mentioned that I'm a huge fan of Eddie Tegseth for them. But the thing is, like, he's just a pest. He's a guy who will chase the ball in the middle third, wherever it is, and he helps break up counterattacks and start counterattacks. And we don't really have a player right now where I look at them and think that's something he's good at. And honestly, I think it seems like every time, though. It seems like every time I watch this team, there's another issue that I'm seeing. Whether that's we don't have a gravity player, someone who pulls teams out of their formation. We don't have depth at center back, at least depth that's being used. And then we don't have that kind of destroyer in the midfield. And I have seen there's rumors of us getting Josh, I think it's Winder. He's a 20-year-old defender, played for Louisville for a while, went to Benfica, has played with the youth national teams. He looks like a good player, but I don't know if a 20-year-old player who's barely getting games in Europe coming to MLS is the fix. I think it might be a small band-aid, but we need a permanent fix here. And I'm not really sure where that comes in. It might not come in till the summer. But yeah, I mean there's going back to like the Rydstrom out stuff, like I don't want to be that team that if we have a bad 5-game stretch, we're firing our coach. I mean, even the team that our former coach went to, I think they had 3 or 4 coaches now in the past year, and there's no stability there, and he hasn't really even had a chance to like bring in his team or even kind of understand what team he has. And honestly, with a league like Major League Soccer, giving coaches time fix I think is important. Across the league, you can see coaches who have gotten the backing of the front office, the backing of the fans, backing of the players. They usually figure it out if they're a good enough coach, and I honestly think that this guy is a good enough coach. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a lot of turnover in the next year, whether it's the end of this transfer window, which ends on Thursday, or it's in the summer or in the off season leading up to that sprint season, or even right after the sprint season. Like there's going to be some changes, especially before this in the roster, especially before we move to this new calendar. But yeah, I mean, we have a break right now. I think it's going to be something that is good for the team. It gives Rydstrom a time to be with the team without having to prepare for games yet. I know we're going to be missing Schulte and Arvston and Bangura and Habrun and Moreira as of right now, but most of the team will be there to train during the international break, and I'm hoping that it's a good mental reset for these guys, because I noticed once Zimmerman scored his goal, everyone was down on themselves. It looked like heads dropped. It almost felt like everyone was thinking, "Oh, here we go again." But yeah, I mean, I said it last episode, but I'm not really that like gung ho cheer for the team and be positive about everything no matter how it's going. But at the same time, I think it's too early to go straight doom and gloom, fire the coach. And I'm very much not a bring Nancy back. That is Matt talking. That's not necessarily everyone from For the Crew. I don't really know where everyone stands on that. But I don't really care to bring back someone who, on his own, decided to leave the club. He thought he was going to greener pastures. He wasn't. It didn't work out for him, and I don't really like the idea of just bringing back a guy who tried to leave and it didn't work out for him. But yeah, so that's kind of where I'm at with it. I want to see something different against Atlanta. I know we've switched to a 4-4-2, which has its pros and cons. I don't really think Habrun should be at the top of a 4-4-2. But honestly, I don't think the way that we play, or honestly, the way that Nancy played, I think Habrun works best, or would work best in a 4-3-3 or a 4-2-3-1, and we don't play those ways right now. But yeah, this game was another disappointing one. We really thought we were gonna get the win, but didn't turn out that way. Hit the post. We cleared a goal off the line. They broke one of our offensive presses. Like, it's little things that need fixing that can make this team maybe not even a lot better, but good enough to start getting points. Yeah. I actually will say that I do think the midfield combination of Chambeau and Gomez will end up being pretty good. It kind of reminds me of last year with the guy who can make the short passes and the guy who can kind of spread the field a little bit more. And like, you can see the ideas are there. We're still holding possession, but we're not really creating in the final third yet. And I know it's frustrating, and it's frustrating for me too. And sometimes it's hard for me here to find the right words. But we just need the bite. We need to make more teams frustrated playing against. But yeah, like I said, we're heading into this window. If you're a U.S. national team fan, watch those 2 games. Schulte hopefully will get a game. I know Arfson will at least get some time. I honestly will be very surprised if he doesn't make the World Cup roster. We need to work set pieces. We need to work on our press. We need to work on getting the ball forward faster. And these players just need to start learning how each other likes to play. So I'll end it on this. Rydstrom like I said at the beginning, he talked about like needing to take our medicine, and maybe that medicine is this international break. I think it's time for us to kind of swallow what happened at the beginning of this year. We have a break. This is a new start against Atlanta. We have one of the best strikers in the league in Abu Ali. Just in terms of goals per game, he's been excellent for it. Although there are some other things, maybe away from the field, that I'm kind of concerned about, but we'll talk about that another time. We have a coach who's not afraid to say what's going wrong. We are yet to see if him noticing it and him fixing it is the same thing. And yeah, hopefully, once this comes back, we can start getting 3 points on the board. I'm Matt. This was the first and maybe only solo episode we'll do. And yeah, I want to hear your guys' like quote unquote break glass in case of emergency plans. A great place to do that is by joining our Discord. We talk soccer pretty much every day there. Whether it's Crew or MLS, US National Team, EPL, La Liga, the Greek Super League, anywhere. Like, we just talk soccer. So if you want to join the Discord, please send us a message and we'll get you in there. We also, if you go to our X account in our profile, there's a way to just join the Discord straight from there. We are, like I said, we're on X. We are on TikTok. We post there 2 or 3 times a day, and go live before and after every game. We are streaming these episodes on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Audible, pretty much anywhere you can listen to a podcast, we're probably there. This episode will not be on video, but we will be back with an interview later this week. And so yeah, look out for that. Yeah, it's been an interesting one doing it by myself, but hopefully you guys enjoyed what I had to say. Let me know what you guys think about where we're at, what needs to be fixed, how do we fix it, and what are you positive about with this team right now? I know there's not a lot to be positive with, but I want to hear what you guys are liking, even though we are winless after 5 games. For me, that is, I feel like Zawadzki's been decent. I feel like Andre Gomez will be a great replacement for Nagbe. If not the perfect replacement, I still think he'll be a good replacement. And I'm excited just to see where this team goes going forward as they start learning more and more how to play the way that this staff wants them to play. But yeah, until then, I'm Matt. This is For the Crew Podcast. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.
For the Crew Podcast.